Welcome back to the channel. It's Dr. Angela Kudger with Legacy Holistic Health Institute. In this video, I'm going to hit you with some amazing secrets, little known things that I do to make sure that my self-care is as soulful as it needs to be. Now, this video is going to be a little bit long, but I do want you to go through and I want you to take notes and I want you to write down how you're going to use these different tools that I'm going to give you, and let me know in the comments which ones you already do and which ones actually stand out to you. So this channel is dedicated to the health, the wellness, and the spiritual well-being of women over 40. If you're not a woman or you're not over 40, you're more than welcome to stay. A lot of this information that I'm sharing, it's definitely something that everybody who's got a body can actually use. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the conscious community. Thank you so much for stopping by. I do hope that something that we share either in this video or in the description of this video will suit you and you'll join our community further by subscribing to our newsletter, where you get a whole lot more incredible goodness delivered straight to your inbox. For those of you who are returning to the channel, you're already a subscriber, you are thebomb.com. Thank you so much for letting YouTube know that this type of content belongs over here and letting me know that you actually love the info that I'm delivering. You see something on this channel that you want a little bit more expansion or some expounding on, let me know. We drop new videos every Wednesday and every Friday mornings at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we do a series every month. So this video is dropped in November. So November 2023. So if you are looking for the series for November 2023, look in our playlist, because that's where all of your series are going to be. Tons of information and stuff for you to jump on this channel and just binge watch. All right, let's jump into soul-filled self-care. So when we are talking about self-care, self-care is something that I want us to be clear on how we define it, because sometimes people look at hair and makeup and nails and looking good. They look at these things as self-care. And I'm not going to say those things are not self-care, but what I would like to challenge you to do is redefine what you classify as self-care, okay? Because self-care, if you look up the Webster Dictionary meaning of self-care, self-care in and of itself is self-preservation, preservation of the mind, body, and soul connection, and preservation of the self. Now, what it might take to preserve yourself might be slightly different from what's required to preserve myself. The things that I'm going to be sharing with you in today's video are key staples to everybody's self. So they're staples that you need to start to attract in greater abundance at a soul level and be able to really cement who you are into the universe and what you're here to do at a soul level. When you layer these things that I'm going to give you today, you're going to find that your life changes. You're going to find that the type of people who are around you changes, and you're going to find that you just feel much more amazing. So your vibration just attracts in a lot much more abundance. Okay. So when we define self-care, self-care is self-preservation. Now, maybe me getting a manicure every 2.5 to 3 weeks is self-care for me, right? Like, these are my real nails. I don't wear fake nails, right? These are my real nails. I get them covered with something because they are so sharp when I don't have anything on them. I end up with scratches on my face. I end up with scratches on my arms because my nails are extremely sharp. They grow extremely fast and they grow pretty hard. And so I get them covered with something so that they blunt. But so getting my nails done is a form of self-care for me. It is a way that I preserve myself for me. Okay. It may not be your thing. It may not be the way that you preserve you, but everything that you do in self-care and concerning self-care you should be able to track it back to how it preserves you, right? This preserves me because I don't have scars on my skin from constantly scratching myself, right? And so you have to track back anything that you think about that is self-care has to do with being able to preserve yourself, reclaiming your time, reclaiming your freedom, letting go of a connection with someone that's draining you, top tier self-care. That is preservation of the mind, the body, and the soul. Top tier self-care. So how can you preserve yourself today? How can you preserve yourself? Well, I'm going to list my favorites in this video and let you know kind of what I do. And then you determine what it is that you do and how you are going to use these things to preserve yourself. The first thing is a kick-ass morning routine. Listen, some people will say this is controversial. Like some people will say that you don't need a morning routine and things like that. Let me tell you something. When I don't do a certain morning routine, my whole world is off. It feels off. It feels off. It feels off. And so, one of the things that I have always done or I implemented over the years was a very strong morning routine. Now, I might add little things that are different to it, but for the most part, I do the same stuff every single morning, every single morning. So, the first thing is number one, I make sure that wherever I'm doing my morning routine, it's the same place every day. So, that might be my altar room, or that might be my bedroom. Very seldom is it any other place besides those two places. If God is pulling me to pray, then it's my altar room, or I'm praying at a deeper level because I pray in my bedroom too. But my morning routine is pretty strict. So I make sure that as soon as I'm awake, I actually go straight to the mirror. I don't know what other people do, but this is something that helps me understand like my day and helps me see myself first thing in the morning because I love the way I look when I wake up. I just do. I love who I am. I love the way I look when I wake up. And the first thing that I want to do is look into my eyes and tell myself, I'm grateful for you. I love you. Look at you awake today. You're amazing today. Whose life are you going to change today? How will God use you today? Well, let's go ask, and then from there, I do my prayers. And in my prayers, I am very careful to start my prayers with gratitude first. Gratitude for being able to go see myself in the mirror, being able to walk to the mirror. Gratitude for all of those things first. And then I pray for myself. I pray for other people first, and then I pray for myself, right? I pray for my wisdom. I pray for knowledge. I pray for energy clearing. I pray for all of these things. I pray for God to enlarge my territory. And then after I pray, I think that it is critical that meditation follows prayer because you can make your request at first, but you also need to find time to listen. Now, I like personally for my meditation to be lumped into another part of my self-care, and we'll get to that a little bit later on in this video. But I like for my morning routine to have fresh water. I drink fresh water when I wake up as well. I make sure that I fill something up at night and sit it on my nightstand so that I have fresh water in the morning and I don't have to leave my room or anything like that. So these are the things that I do. And then before I leave my home, which I usually go to the gym because my gym and meditation are tied together. My gym and meditation are tied together. And I'm going to tell you guys why when we get to physical activity. But I usually meditate in the sauna after my workout. And I'm going to tell you why. But my meditation and stuff is tied and gym is tied together. So the next thing I do after I pray is I journal. Anything that immediately comes up, I journal about it. I journal my goals. I make it quick. I don't sit and journal for like an extended like period of time. I usually make it super, super quick when I'm journaling and I'm super clear on what it is I'm asking for when I journal. Even if it's a goal I've written before, I let God use me to write that thing out again so that I'm clear on the intentions of why I want that in my reality and what I'm going to do to help serve other people when it is in my reality. Okay. So I journal in the mornings. I drink fresh water. I say affirmations in the mirror. I affirm who I am. And then I make sure I pray. And I pray for other people first. And then I pray for myself and for my needs and enlarging my territory. And then I ask God to speak to me all day long. I get dressed for the gym, right? I've already drank water, so I'm taking more with me. I get dressed for the gym. And then I usually go drop my son off at school. and then I go straight to the gym from there. And then while I'm in the gym, so let's talk about it. So movement and exercise. So when we're talking about movement and exercise, you are moving the life force in your body. Go to the gym, do workouts at home, run around your neighborhood, walk around your neighborhood, do some yoga stretches in your bedroom. But by all means, no matter what you do, make sure that it works. And when I say work, I mean make sure that you're sweating, and make sure that there's evidence of sweat, and then make sure that your heart is pumping, your heart rate goes up. Okay. And the reason this is important is because you're circulating new life force energy every day. Your blood, your chi, you're circulating all of these things. You want to make sure that happens when you move. And then I will tell you a little secret. While I'm moving, depending on what my goal is, I'm meditating all while I'm in the gym. Yes, my eyes are open. Meditation is not like, right? It doesn't have to be like that. I'm meditating while I'm lifting weights. I'm meditating with every arm curl. I'm meditating with every shoulder press. I'm meditating with every tricep dip. I'm meditating with every lat pull down. I'm meditating with every pull up. I'm meditating with every step I take on the Stairmaster, every step I take while I'm running, doing treadmill sprints. I'm meditating. And what I am meditating on is my cells. I'm seeing my cells. If I'm wanting to lose weight, for example, I'm seeing my fat cells in my mind shrink. I'm sending my body white light all the time. This is a key, right? Like, people ask me, how do you look like that all the time? Like, how do you look? you know, how do you, your body, how does your body look like that all the time over these years? It's because when I learned, and I learned this as a bodybuilder, when I was a competing athlete and when I was a CrossFit athlete, I learned this. You can either spend your time feeling like you're weak or thinking that you're weak, or you could spend your time feeding your cells, your cellular matter, information that will make you strong and invincible. And so I always, even now, think about my fat cells shrinking, think about my muscles getting plumper, think about me being in love with the way my physical body looks, thinking about me having a positive outlook and positive body image no matter what, and thinking about me versus me, not me being concerned about what anyone else has to say about who I am or how I look, right? So I make sure that in my brain, I'm creating a marching army of billions of cells that are all going towards this goal. They are loaded and they are coated with information that I give them towards making my body look and feel a certain way. That's how I stay like that. That's why even if I gain weight, I'm not concerned. I know it will come back off. I know my body will go to where it's supposed to be, because in my head, I'm always meditating on these results. Always. That's the key here. And I always am constantly, while I'm in the gym, visualizing what I want to look like, visualizing people saying, man, you look amazing, visualizing me telling myself that every morning in the mirror as well, right? And so these things are small things, but they make a big difference. And while your blood is pumping, it's the perfect time to visualize. People don't know this. You're adding extra energy behind your affirmation, behind your intention, behind your meditative thought. You're not usually doing that when you're just sitting in bed meditating. Very different frequency. You raise your vibration with movement, and then you start to visualize at that higher vibration. And that's how you can get those serious results. Really. That's how you do it. And so movement. And then after that, I promise God, I'm going to go to the sauna to make sure that I detox and keep my body detoxed and strong. And so I go and I meditate in the sauna. So no matter what kind of music I'm listening to during my workout, as soon as the workout is done, I turn on meditation music, and then I go straight to the sauna. And I sit in the sauna for about 15 minutes, again, letting this chi energy flow through my body. And then I cement the meditation. I cement the visualization into my brain and into my cells. I do another meditation that scans inside of my body and inside of all of my cells to see where else I need to give my body love, right? And so this is key. There's a lot of self-care videos out there, but they're not giving the how-to on these things. This is what you need to start doing. Now that we know that movement and exercise are paramount to soul filled self care, and now that you understand how you can raise your vibration while you're at the gym and while you're moving, and start to meditate during that time, I promise you'll see some much better results in your visualization and meditation daily practice as well. The next thing I want to talk about, so we've talked about the morning routine, we've talked about the movement routine. Let's talk about nourishing your body. So one of the things I like to say is that eating is an act of worship. Everything that we put in our bodies, we are either feeding it healthfully or we are condemning it. And so I know that as women over 40, a lot of times we will do eating out with friends, we'll do brunch with girlfriends, we'll do all of these different things. And I want us to be aware of how we interact and how we look at food and what we think about food. I visualize, and I used to be one of those people that was out all the time, all the time. If it wasn't some medical dinner or brunch or event, it was out with friends and traveling and all this stuff. And so one of the things that I learned was that you can easily do detriment to your body. You can easily condemn yourselves, right? While eating like this. And so it was important to me that it doesn't matter where the food comes from per se, but it does matter that it gives me some nourishment back. And here's what I mean by that. I mean that my cells feel like they are getting what they need and they are not starved. And here's what I'm saying. There are a lot of people who will eat 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day, several things, snacks, all these things, and their body is still starving because they're eating empty calories, they're eating processed foods, and their body is still starving, and they're gaining weight from the body being in starvation mode, right? It's not getting anything of nutrients, no kind of nutrient substance in it, so that it can properly shed weight, it can properly deflate, meaning the removal of inflammation in the systems. And so it's important that when I look at my plate, one of the things that I always do is I pray or I say something over my food about what I want that food to do to my body. So I might say something along the lines of, this food is going to build up my cells. This food is going to remineralize my cells. This food is going to give me the energy that I need to get to my next meal. This food is going to be the building blocks of protein to repair my body after today's back workout. I say some kind of something over my food to make sure I'm commanding it to align with the chi or with the energy that's already in my body. And then I show gratitude for the food as well. And so you'll find that when you do this, you eat a lot less trash. I look around my plate and I make sure that everything there, I can identify it, right? So like, I'm not going to have chips because I think that's potatoes, but who knows how many processes it went through before it got to the bag. If I'm looking at quinoa, if I'm looking at kale, if I'm looking at steamed broccoli, if I'm looking at roasted potatoes, these are things that I can trace back to the ground that they came from. These are things that I can look and say, okay, this is exactly what I want to put in my body. This is going to give me this, and I don't have to wonder, like, is it going to nourish me? I already know that it is. So when you look at your food and when you look at nourishing your body, this is top tier self-care. Turning down cake, excuse me, turning down cake. It's hard for me to turn down cake, but I know that I can't properly visualize my fat cells shrinking in the gym when I'm sucking down cupcakes, right? The visualizations, they don't go together. It starts to make me feel more stuck in my thought processes. And I don't like the way that feels. That's not self-preservation. That's mental. I'm having mental detriment at that point. And so we have to be wise enough over 40 to say that it's time to do so much more and so much better at a higher level when it comes to our health, right? And so we talked a little bit about movement. I've already talked to you guys about mindfulness and meditation. That comes along with how you actually choose your food, being mindful of how you feel after you eat. Hydration is a huge thing too. When I drink water now, I used to say, man, I'm so dry. I need so much water. I'm so dry. And now I stopped saying that. And now every time I drink water, I think about a stream flowing over these beautiful rocks. I think about how well my cells are being hydrated. And I think about how good I actually feel in my body when I drink water. And it makes me drink more water. It really does. And so the mindfulness piece of this is so critical as well in understanding how to preserve ourselves long term. All right. Emotional health is huge. Emotional health can stagnate your creativity. Emotional health can actually stagnate your chakras. Emotional health or lack of emotional health can do a lot of damage to who we are mentally as well. And so you let me talk a little bit about this, because when we look at emotional well-being, there's a lot of different things and the way people kind of think of things when it comes to their emotional well-being. And I just want to say, like, emotional well-being, one of the best things that you could do when you feel emotionally strained or challenged is to truly work through your feelings at that time. Now, I know a lot of people might tell you, well, maybe you could wait until there's a better time to talk. I mean, I think those things have their place, but I think true um, preservation of ourselves emotionally happens when we deal with the thing right then. Happens when we let ourselves feel these emotions and say, here's how I'm feeling, and here's how I'm going to respond. And we might have some learning to do after that. We might have some learning based on how we respond to do after that, to respond better and to be better. But at least the emotions are out. Emotions can trap in the fascia of our body. And this is one of the things we teach in the health coach training program at Legacy. The fascia wraps the entire body and it holds energy over time. We can be stuck and stagnated based on this energy that is in our fascia that wraps and covers everything. And it's a living, breathing thing. And we feed it based on our emotional well being and based on our energy systems. And so we want to make sure that we are keyed into how we are feeling and how we are preserving ourselves at a deep level when it comes to self care. We must be aware of that. The other part to this is actually pursuing your passions. And so we want to make sure that when we stay in alignment with the things that make our hearts sing, that we are exactly where we need to be and that we are allowing ourselves to feel bliss, joy, freedom. We're allowing ourselves to understand and feel these things while we pursue our passions. One of the things that you're also going to find when you pursue your passions is that you live longer, you're going to be healthier in your physical body, you're more driven to see results in your physical, mental, and spiritual life. You're more driven when you're tied to your passion, right? And so this is so important for self-care. And it's also important to protect your ability to live this passion. Not let naysayers or people tell you that this is not something you should be doing, but following how you feel inside. The other thing we want to do is actually connect with nature. And whether the sun is shining, even if it's raining, get out and dance in the rain. I loved being able to do this. If I was ever out for my run and it started to rain, I would just let nature be. right? Sometimes I would even stop because the path that I run on has these benches along the way for people to stop, rest, sit. A lot of people walk their dogs. A lot of the elderly come out in the community and walk the path. So you have these park benches along this path that's like 26 miles long. And I love it. And I love who I meet on the path, but I love that it's surrounded by nature and trees and water, bodies of water. It's important that we get out in nature and let nature sing to us, as I would like to say it. Now, I try to get out in nature every single day, walking somewhere or running as well. But I try to get out in nature every day, and I try to eat fresh food with all of my meals every day. Okay. And so you're going to find that when you add these things in and you layer these different ways to care about yourself, you're going to find that your self care and your ability to love yourself and your ability to manifest and raise your vibration go through the roof, because food holds energy. Where your feet walk holds energy, whether it's in nature or at home. These things all hold energy. And you want to make sure that you're keyed into how you make yourself, you raise your energy and you take care of yourself. The last thing is to build a support system. And I can't say this enough. Like all over social media, I think we see enough of people and their stuff and people sharing everything about themselves. The goal in everything is to build a real support system, not just friends on Facebook or connections on LinkedIn. Nowadays, I was talking to one of my sisters. I had 8 sisters. I was talking to one of my sisters. Well, there's 8 girls. I had 7 sisters, but I was talking to one of my sisters, my older sisters, yesterday, and she was saying to me, she said, it's not just, she said, I take care of myself differently now. And she said, I don't just think about like, when I'm thinking about like a loving partner or bringing a loving partner into my life, we were talking about relationships. She was like, she said, Angie, I'm not just thinking about how they're going to treat me and how we're going to reciprocate love and things like that. She said, I extend this to everybody that I meet. I extend this to potential friends. I extend this to, and I look at how their energy is. And if I know that things are going to feel unrequited, they're going to feel one-sided, I cut ties. And she said, for my own mental well-being, because I know that I'm a big giver. And I was like, oh my God, you're absolutely right. And so it's about having a serious support network, people who are going to challenge you, but also are going to change you and also are going to be rooting for you. People who got boots on the ground for you, as we say at Legacy. Who is in your circle? Who are your people? And so if you're somebody who hasn't connected with the right people yet, don't worry, you will find your tribe. This tribe is open for you. We support in a bunch of ways here. I try to bring opportunities to our students and graduates and people on our list before I go to the general public. And so you want to make sure that you are tapped in, tuned in, turned on with and to the people who can actually be of assistance with you, who can be of assistance with you and for you. And so it's so important. Listen, I know this video ran just a little bit long as our content for November, and I truly do hope that you got something out of this video. I also hope that if you haven't already yet, that you actually hit that subscribe button if you watch this far, kind of something like this.
Be sure to hit the subscribe button and make sure that you're staying abreast of everything on our channel, and be sure to turn on your notifications so that you know when we post new videos.
Listen, I never take the role of teacher lightly, and I'm grateful for your presence here. I'm grateful for the ability to share time and space with you. In the exchange of energy, give this video a thumbs up, share it out, save it for later. Let somebody know that you watched it and you got some amazing tips out of this video. Until next time, love and light, beautiful.